Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Thrashers Paradise. I am joined via Skype all the way from the beautiful city of St. John's, Newfoundland. I am joined with Artach, and we are here to discuss their new EP coming out, Sworn to Avenge. Gentlemen, how are you two doing?
Doing great. How's everything with you?
Everything's going great. Now, first question, did I say the band name right?
Well, we pronounce it as Artach, or some
Artach.
people pronounce it as
Okay.
Artach. We've heard it
Artach.
all, really.
Okay, I apologize just because that was what Google Translate said the word sounded like, so...
Yeah, Google doesn't know the language that the band name comes from, which is not English. So,
Oh, where does the band name originate from?
it's a Gaelic word. So it translates into English as Arctic. So Artach.
Ah,
It kind of represents the aesthetic of the band when it comes to the cold and some of the influences with the lyrics. And I think the Arctic and winter really add to the aesthetic of black metal.
you're completely right, and that leads right into the debut single that came out with the EP, Into the Frozen Woodlands. I just gotta say, I did get the chance to see the YouTube video, the lyrical video of it on YouTube, and I love it. It's a great song. It's what it's what you need with black metal, and I can truly say that it's satisfied me in all of my black metal needs.
We really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. For you two, what made you want to choose Into the Frozen Woodlands to be the lyrical video?
Well, I think part of it was driven by it was one of our newer songs and we liked it, and the other part was we had the idea of where we live. It's easy to capture video of wandering off into the frozen woodlands, so that's exactly what I did, and I made the video that's shot there myself when I was walking in the forest, of course. So it was easy to get the footage ourselves, and so those two things combined is why we chose that one.
Yes, and I think it was one of the strongest songs on the album, and it was probably a good choice for a first single. It gives a good impression of where we're going with this album.
Awesome. Now, when it came to deciding on how you want to promote this, because I know black metal, like the traditional roots are to just keep it as true cult as humanly possible. For you, what made you guys want to kind of step out and get a PR representation to help promote this album?
Well, you don't write music for no one to hear it, even though I guess some black metal bands seem to go that way, maybe, and they don't want anyone to see them or hear them or anything. But we don't want to be rock stars by any stretch of the imagination. But I mean, we do write music for people to listen to it, of course. Otherwise, what's the point? We could just stay in the basement and never record and be very cult.
We definitely want to take our music to, I would say, the highest level possible with reach it to the widest audience we can.
Awesome. Now, with this EP, you guys have the amazing opportunity to release it under the label Depressive Illusion Records. What's that like to be able to release an EP just off of a record label?
Well, our first one was also released by them, and it was a big bump in our listenership and likes on Facebook and things like that, because we released our first album just independently and digitally through Bandcamp and stuff like that. And then when we got involved with them, even though there's a label that does limited runs of and pressings of your album, right away more people paid attention and checked it out, even though they could have checked it out before. You're kind of taken at a more serious level once a label is behind it and releases it, and people check it out from different parts of the world as opposed to just people you might know.
Awesome. Now, I do have to honestly say, now, behind you, conveniently enough, is the album artwork itself for Sworn to Avenge, and I do have to say it is truly just magnificent and beautiful. It's a stellar looking album cover, and I just gotta know what made you to decide on this was the concept you wanted the look of the album to be.
Well, it kind of represents our first album, Chronicles of a Black Winter. Had a lot of winter themes, and I mean this album does as well. But we kind of wanted it to represent a new era of Artach with our music. A lot of it represents winter melting into spring and just the process of nature, the process of change, and that's something that we've embraced with this new album.
Awesome. Now, as we've talked about before we did start recording, you guys do have the pleasure of being the first ever Newfoundland band to come on the channel, and well, I really get the opportunity to talk to. Now, as being from Ontario, I don't know much about the Newfoundland and Labrador scene. So what kind of scene is it like? Is there a lot of black metal bands? Is there just a mixture of everything? Or is it very small knit and all of you are just, you know what to do and you want to get the job done right?
Yeah, it is a small scene, of course, because, you know, it is a small population-wise province. So, of course, there is a small scene as well. And everywhere you go, there's metal in the world. So it's not surprising that there's also metal here. You know, the black metal scene here does exist. There are black bands playing black metal. Winter Hearth are probably the most known other band that play that style from here, and they're really cool. There's bands that play like doom and stoner, sludge, hardcore, punk, death metal, thrash metal. You know,
There's so many different bands in Newfoundland. It's really crazy the amount of music that comes out of this small island.
I know. I do have to say, because I do try and keep up with everyone, and I've been nothing but just impressed as all hell with every Newfoundland band I've heard. Like bands like you, I believe Oxygen Chapel, is it?
Yes, from another one that it's
Yep.
Like they just blew me away. Like so far it's been great. Now there's this old story I keep hearing from my father, because you guys do have, there has been a hockey presence there, and this was always the thing I heard, where the home team always left before the away team because there was nothing to do in St. John's. As two natives of the city, is that a true story or is that just a myth?
You mean nothing to do here?
Yeah.
that's
Well, it depends on what you want to do, obviously. If you want to see all the cool bands that tour the world, then you're out of luck if you're here, because, you know, barely anybody comes here. So yeah, there's that side of it, but then there's also the side of if you're into nature and the wilderness and, you know, just getting out away from people, which is always a good thing, and especially during a pandemic, you know.
There's always an escape.
There's always somewhere to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Awesome. Now, when it comes to Sworn to Avenge, what does it mean to each of you individually?
Well, the title itself is actually, it comes from a lyric from a Judas Priest song, The Sentinel, which
Yes.
is one of my favorite Priest tunes. We're big fans of theirs, and a lot of what we do musically is paying tribute to bands that have influenced us growing up. Priest is definitely one, but obviously we're more of, you know, on the extreme side of what we do. But I would also say that Sworn to Avenge is a statement that we're trying to, you know, make with this album, is to just make the most powerful, aggressive album we could possibly do. And we're kind of like claiming the black metal throne, as you could say, here in Newfoundland.
Yeah, for me, I think the album is just, you know, a step up from what we did on our first one. It's better, more diverse songs. We had it professionally mastered, so the sound quality, you know, jumped up in improvement, better artwork. You know, we're back and better than before, and that's pretty much where the band is at right now. We always continue writing new music, and this is as far as we are right now. There's still songs written that haven't been recorded, so we're always working away.
Awesome. For both of you, well, for each of you individually, what song did you find the most difficult either to record or to write off of this new record?
Well, that would definitely be there's one song on our album that is over 20 minutes in length, and it's something that I've wanted to do personally my whole career as a musician. One of the big influence for that was a band called Opeth and their track Black Rose Immortal, which is also over 20 minutes. So it's just something that a goal I've always had, and I think lyrically, maybe Sruthan could tell you something about that.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree. That was the most challenging song for, maybe not for writing it, because I wrote it over, a few
Definitely
weeks.
the recording.
But the recording took a long
quite
time.
Challenging.
Yeah. Well, it's 20 plus minutes, so it's like recording 3 or 4 songs. It's like some band's EP, and that's one song for us. So, and the lyrics are about the quest to go through the Northwest Passage, which end in abysmal failure and death for all involved. So, it's a very famous Canadian story, and one that, of course, if you're singing about a lot of songs about winter and freezing to death in the cold, it fit well, and it's a long song and a long story. So, it took a long time to get the lyrics together for it and put together what we think, and to carry the story from, the ship leaving from England and traveling into the Northwest Passage, and then never being heard from again until the Franklin expedition was discovered in, was it 2017 or something? Yes. They found the remains of the ships at the bottom of the ocean, and it's pretty grim and quite a black metal story.
It's definitely great black metal subject matter.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course. No. Gentlemen, when it comes so far to promoting this album throughout the pandemic, besides not being able to perform it live, what has been the most difficult part about promoting this certain release?
Well, we don't really play live. Right now, Artach is just the two of us, and it may something be that we would do in the future, but I think right now we found it's a lot more productive to just have 2 members in the band. It doesn't mean that we won't ever add members or we'd be open to that, but I think right now we focus on mainly doing studio production.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess for the pandemic, the thing that affected us was, there was a couple of lockdowns where, we didn't get together and record at the rate that we wanted to. So, I continued writing, of course, and had a billion ideas, as I always do, for songs and riffs, but we didn't get together and work on those as a team and record them because of some of the lockdowns. But things are pretty good here now, and we're back, and hopefully everything will start to get a lot more normal.
Mm-hmm. Here's hoping. But I'm glad to hear you all in Newfoundland are doing better, and you guys are getting better, because we're really slowly getting it here in Ontario.
Yeah.
Yes, it's one of the fortunate things about the isolation of Newfoundland is that we can we have that advantage that we haven't been exposed to COVID as much as some of the rest of Canada.
Lucky.
I guess it's definitely something we're thankful for.
All right, gentlemen. I have one last question to ask you, because I know you're both busy You're both busy men. It's a fun question we ask all first-time guests. We call it the poser question. It's just to test your metal knowledge.
Okay.
The question is simple. Who would win in a fight, Lemmy or God?
Lemmy is God.
Trick question.
That's a trick question.
That is correct.
And anyone who doesn't agree is a poser.
There you go. Yeah.
You got it. Gentlemen, thank you both so much for taking time out of your days just to sit down and talk to me about Sworn to Avenge, which is out June 25th. Is there anything else you would like to add on or say to the people watching us on YouTube?
Well, we'd like to thank our fans for all their support.
Yeah, and thanks to you for your time to talk to us about this our small little band
We
from
really
our small
appreciate
little
it.
island.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're welcome. It was a great pleasure to talk to the both of you. And until next time, everyone, keep on thrashing.
Keep thrashing, man.
Black
Thank
thrashing.
you. Keep it metal.